Coming up on Techzilla, Veronica's back from South by Southwest. AT&T almost a monopoly again. Zoom versus iPad2 and a gigantic pile of viewer questions. So hand me the mashed potatoes because it hurts too much to chew. And Techzilla starts now. This episode of Techzilla is made possible by GoDaddy. GoToAssist Express supports smarter with GoToAssist Express and Carbonite Online Backup. Start your free trial at Carbonite.com with the offer code Techzilla and get 2 bonus months if you decide to buy. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Techzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the best smoked meats on the West Coast, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down somebody who does. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How was South by Southwest?
It was busy, but it was good.
Busy like I went to 4,200 parties, or busy
No.
like I actually saw a new product that was exciting?
Well, kind of neither, I guess. Busy like I was shooting all weekend, filming all weekend rather, and it was just like a lot of work, and I went to like one party.
You saw nothing interesting at South by Southwest?
I mean, I did.
If you're thinking about signing a really hefty expense report for your staffers that went to South by Southwest, remember this moment. I'm just saying. Did you at least get to go to the Dignation party?
No.
Oh.
I got in Saturday night and it was over by the time I got downtown, so I didn't get to go to that. I went to the Gadget party and that was fun, and I went to...
Of course it was fun. Ryan was there.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of cool stuff at the Accelerator event, the Microsoft BizSpark event. I saw some cool stuff at Plutopia, a lot of people, you know, showing some really experimental products,
Really?
but nothing actually at the convention. I was only at the convention for screen burn, like inside the convention center.
Okay.
There was some cool gaming stuff there, but it wasn't like...
So I should have asked you, what did you see that was cool around or while you were attending
But
South
I probably
by
didn't even
Southwest?
need a badge, like at this point. It was just like, why pay the money? But it was still fun to just be in Austin and get to see everyone all in the same place at the same time, and
Kind of
always
like
a good time.
homecoming.
Huh?
Kind of like homecoming.
Yeah, it's like San Francisco just kind of migrates to Austin for an entire week. It's pretty funny.
It's
but
a
happy to
little-
be back.
Excited?
Yeah, happy to be back. It's been raining nonstop since we've been here, but I'm okay with that. And then, of course, on Sunday we got the big AT&T news, which was kind of like, what?
Yeah, in case you've been hiding under a rock, the biggest tech story this week has to be AT&T buying up T-Mobile, which has my T-Mobile friends weeping softly, mostly because it's a 98% certainty that T-Mobile's awesome customer service will become AT&T's meh customer service.
Yeah, it was a $39 billion deal with Deutsche Telekom. So it's T-Mobile USA. T-Mobile in other places is going to stay as is. This is all assuming, of course, that it's approved by the DOJ and the FCC. It would make AT&T T-Mobile the largest wireless service in the U.S., which AT&T is probably pretty happy about. 130 million customers to Verizon's 90 million. You know, drops Sprint way down to a distant third at this point.
With a mere 50 million customers.
Still, that's you know, well below what the other guys are doing now. And according to AT&T's chairman and CEO, it represents a major commitment to strengthen and expand critical infrastructure for our nation's future.
Can you hear that behind the CEO? That was a flag that was being waved behind you.
It will improve network quality, and it will bring advanced LTE capabilities to more than 294 million people.
Industry watchers like our buddy PC Mag Sasha Sagan, a little less enthusiastic about the merger than, of course, AT&T management. Think less hardware because you don't really need, just less competition means less hardware, fewer phones out there, higher prices, and more of the weak-ass customer service. It's been an AT&T hallmark, my choice of words, not Sasha's, to discuss AT&T's customer service. Check out Sasha's AT&T buys T-Mobile. Great for them, bad for you, for his usual solid insight on the merger. This one's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, Pete Rojas over at Gadget actually had a really good point, which is that now that they don't have to worry about T-Mobile and their unusually low prices for service and for packages, now AT&T and Verizon are like, well, now we can just raise our prices because we don't have to worry about the little guy. You know, with the people getting the option of paying way less, like $64 a month for unlimited data and for a phone that they really like, and for awesome customer service.
And very family friendly with their family plans are pretty amazing. So I do not think this bodes well for those of us who use cell phones, which is pretty much all of us.
It's going to be very interesting to watch, as we said. Yeah, but on the upside, maybe I'll get better coverage for my iPhone.
That would be nice.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, AT&T and T-Mobile, you know, their networks make better sense together than T-Mobile and Sprint did, which was another combination that was potentially going to happen.
Two completely dissimilar corporate cultures and two completely dissimilar networks.
Yeah.
Completely not hardware compatible.
Exactly. All right, well, in other wireless news, Google Voice and Sprint are now one. If you're one of Sprint 50 million customers, your Sprint number is now a Google Voice number, and you can use any Google Voice number on your Sprint phone without additional software. Now, this is forward thinking. So you can ring any phone you want from that number, get calls from Gmail, or laugh yourself silly while you try to read a Google Voice transcription of your voicemail.
Those always make me laugh.
They always work in Peanuts somewhere, I've noticed.
Maybe that's part of the algorithm.
Maybe.
And then a tsunami earthquake update from Japan. While we're much more concerned about the human loss and the problems with the Fukushima reactors, Texila is a tech show, and IHS Supply released a report on Monday that said 25% of the world's silicon wafer supply was interrupted by the quake, as in stopped cold indefinitely. Big old silicon wafers become semiconductors, as in the chips inside electronics. PC Mag supports iSupply's, basically quotes them at memory, but with flash memory and DRAM, the memory used in PCs will be the hardest hit, followed by logic semiconductors used in various devices, including the iPad2. The silicon made in Japan goes to semiconductor manufacturers around the world, so this is expected to impact lots and lots of everything.
Yes. Well, let's get a quick speed round of questions in. Allie writes in, "Hi, Texila. Living with 3 roommates this semester, and every month we come within a few gigs of the 250 gigs. Are there any alternates to Comcast that are not capping bandwidth? I don't rightly care if it's slower." Allie. Well, it all kind of depends on where you live. DSL, wireless, you know, there's all different ways of potentially hitting that bandwidth cap.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you're looking for an alternative to Comcast, you need to check to see what DSL is available in your area, if there are local. And one of the most attractive alternatives here in the Bay Area is a company called Sonic. They're an alternative to AT&T for DSL. There's some really cool wireless systems that are available kind of in San Francisco and Oakland if you're in an apartment building that is larger than 24 units and they wire the entire building. Problem is there's no way to tell, depending on what town or what city you live in, there are multiple options or like none to Comcast, and you're going to have to check broadband reports, search online, ask around your neighbors, but essentially they're probably all going to have a cap of some sort, except for some of the more unusual local suppliers.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, Chuck emails, Google represented last year that it would be offering 1 gig internet in some communities. The city of Ventura decided to take them up on their offer. So far, nothing has happened. Was this a scam? Which communities are getting this service? I would like to see AT&T become extinct like all service providers that will not offer the latest technology available. Any hope for something better, faster, and cheaper? Love the show. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this too.
Yes, everybody's been waiting. It's definitely not a scam. Google hired a VP of Access Services in December 2010 to oversee the Google Fiber program. His name is Milo Medin, who blogged on google.blogspot.com in December. And while the city of Ventura may have applied, as in they want, so did 1,099 other towns or cities from 50 to 500,000 people. Google got 1,100 responses, a lot more than they expected, and basically Milo blogged in December that they need more time to decide. They actually have already created a beta network of 850 homes in Stanford, and they've been experimenting with cheaper ways to deploy fiber optic for the past few months. The phrase micro-trenching comes to mind.
So that sounds like low-impact city development, like digging up maybe roads, kind of?
Well, traditionally, right, I remember...
They have to lay the fiber somewhere.
The fiber's got to go somewhere. In a lot of places, they're not going to hang fiber off the poles, and so they're going to bury it. And that's one of the
Could they not? Why can't they do it like electrical wires?
Well, a lot of communities don't have telephone poles.
Oh.
So.
Interesting. Yeah, we always said that the next place we move has to be fiber compatible.
So
there's got to be fiber laid down.
Like Connecticut or Virginia or one of those strongholds.
I don't want to go back to Connecticut. Not that anything wrong with Connecticut. I love my home state, but it's cold there. Very, very cold.
Definitely, though, not a scam. They should be announcing sometime soon who the lucky city or cities are.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
There was a lot of responses.
Yeah. And then Ricardo writes in, I was wondering, is it possible to make your own internet provider for your home? Sort of like businesses do. They don't use a company like Comcast for their internet. They basically have their own network for their internet. What equipment do they use? Ricardo from Monterey, California. I think that would be kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And doesn't it still kind of piggyback off of other networks anyway?
Yeah, and that's the thing, Ricardo. Companies, they do use a company like Comcast. It's just bigger in internet backbone. UNet, Sprint, Quest, Level 3, AT&T. There are lots and lots and lots of companies that are basically big honking connections to the internet.
The internet isn't really a thing so much as it is a collection of networks that all work together. You're probably thinking, Ricardo, of the leased lines that companies use to connect their networks across the country. You know, basically, you go from like, there's the corporate office here, and then there's the Southeastern Regional Office, and there's a leased line that connects those two networks so they work together all the time. The hardware for those leased lines, with like a T1, a T2, a T3, whatever, they range from WAN cards that go into servers, go into racks, to boxes for small offices that look a lot like big home routers. About 1,000 years ago, a lot of local ISPs started up as a garage full of modems and an ISDN line, maybe a T1 line if they got big. T1 to T3 lines that go from 6 to 275 megabits per second. They're much bigger lines, and they all cost a lot of money every month.
Yeah, I think you might just have to put up with Comcast in this kind of situation, unless you really just want to build up the infrastructure in your home.
There are occasionally like business DSL lines that are pretty good deals and stuff like that, but it's, again, it so varies on the community, where you live in the country. What is available varies completely depending on where you live.
Well, let's take a non-internet-y question. David emails, hello Patrick and Veronica. I have an iPod Touch 3rd Gen and a car USB charger I've used with this iPod Touch for the last 3 years. When iOS 4.2 came out, my Touch would say that it was not compatible with this device. With iOS 4.3, it no longer says it's not compatible, but it doesn't charge either. I know the converter and cable are fine, as I've tested it with my wife's iPod Nano 5th Gen. Did Apple change iOS 4.2 or 4.3 that would cause this? David. Yeah, you never really know what they've changed until suddenly something doesn't work anymore.
Or it works differently.
Or it works differently, or it's just completely foobarred.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of charging issues that have been reported with iOS 4.3 at discussions.apple.com. You can try the, what's that?
I was going to say the universal repair. Resetting the iDevice.
The universal repair.
You hold down the sleep button, and you hold down the home button, and you wait until it shuts down, and then you wait longer, keep holding the buttons down until the Apple comes back.
Or the other method, which is wait for the next update.
Yeah, which also is
which I always tend to end up doing.
Yeah, a lot of people have reported though that they did the update, their charger wouldn't work or their device wouldn't charge, and basically they reset the phone by holding down the home and the sleep button, and when it woke up, magically it was capable of charging.
Yeah,
again.
so give that a shot. Give that a shot, see how it goes. If not, maybe try bringing it into Apple. If there really is something wrong with your phone, they might give you a new one, or your Touch rather.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that.
Just, you know, I would be curious though if your Touch is not charging on other chargers like the one that came with your iPod Touch in the box.
I'm assuming that it probably is, because he probably would have mentioned that if it wasn't. He would just say it's not charging at all. But yeah, those third-party devices sometimes. Did he say it was a third-party device or was the third-party devices tend to be the ones that go first. You know, suddenly one day you're like, oh, this dock just doesn't work
That's
anymore.
what's frustrating. It works on his wife's 5th gen, but not his 3rd gen. Go figure. Hey, let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, GoDaddy.com. You need domain hosting? You have got to check out GoDaddy.com right now. They're running a special sale on .co domain names, usually priced at $29.99. For a limited time, you can score a .co domain for only $7.49 for the first year. That's over half off any .co domain name. Just use code REVCO1 at checkout, but act fast. This offer ends March 31st, 2011. And for even more GoDaddy deals from Revision 3, visit revision3.com/GoDaddy. That's revision3.com/GoDaddy.
Hoping to knock Apple's iPad from its perch, Motorola released the Zoom, the first tablet computer to run Android 3.0 Honeycomb. Is it a winner? Here to give us his first-hand experience with the Zoom is Revision 3's Rob D'Amelio. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Taking the time. What has your experience been like with the Zoom so far?
It's been very positive so far. It was released at the end of February. I got it the day that it came out. It was missing a couple of features, which they've plugged some of those holes since then. They're trying to obviously beat the iPad before it came out. But it's been great. It's worked well. It's worked flawlessly. It's fast. It's quick. I like what it does.
Have you used another tablet before this, or is this your first real tablet?
No, I've had the original iPad, and I've had the Galaxy Tab, so 2.
What's Flash been like on this device? Because I'm an iPad user myself, but I have seen this in action. It looks pretty fast, but in the real world,
it is okay? Actually very fast. So Flash came out on this actually on Friday. So that was one of the holes that they filled in as time went on, and it's been great. I haven't been to any site except for Hulu that hasn't allowed Flash to go through. So.
Oh, so Hulu's still not working?
Hulu is still not working. They're still checking to make sure that you're not using it illegally.
And what's your favorite thing about the Zoom so far?
That it's open. That's probably the biggest complaint that I have against the iPad is that everything's very locked down, everything's very rigid. But on the Zoom, everything is wide open. So.
Other than Flash, which has since been added, as you said, where are some areas where you think they could use some improvement? Well,
it comes with a SD card slot, but it's not activated. Why it's not activated, I'm not sure if that's a problem with Honeycomb, which is the Android 3.0 operating system, or if it's the hardware itself. They're promising a software patch. I don't know what that software patch is supposed to be. So there's that. I don't like the fact that I have to carry an additional adapter. They're not using USB 2 to do the power charging. And there's some issues around the Tegra 2 as well. So the reason Boxy didn't go with the Tegra 2 processor is that it doesn't process 1080p H.264 videos on the hardware chip itself. And so Boxy moved away from the Tegra 2. A lot of these tablets that are coming out to compete with the iPad picked up the Tegra 2, and so they've maintained that problem going forward. So to play 1080p videos on here, you have to use decoders that do it in software rather than on the chip.
Now, I was using this a little bit at the Gadget Party back at South by Southwest this past weekend, and I couldn't find the power button. Where is it?
It's cleverly hidden as a camera on the back here.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah.
I found that a little bit vexing.
It's a little bit vexing.
It's not quite a deal breaker.
No,
but
no. You only have to learn where it is once, and then you're done.
So this is, of course, running on Verizon's network.
Correct.
Are there any specialty apps that you've been using or anything that you've downloaded yet?
There are specialty apps on here that are inserted into the market itself. So if you go to the newly designed Android market, you're going to see it broken up into several segments. One is tablet apps that were optimized specifically for the tablet. The other is your standard normal Android applications. And then at the very bottom, Verizon's got its own section. So you can download Bing, for instance, in place of Google or any of the VCast applications that Verizon has. I personally do not use them, but they're there if you want them.
VCast still going strong.
It'll be around for a long time.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
It is the COBOL of video delivery systems. It's not going to go away.
Now, we have an iPad here just for comparison's sake.
Sure.
Given the time you've spent with the Zoom now, would you have chosen the Zoom still, or would you have maybe gone with an iPad 2?
Oh, I'd absolutely choose the Zoom, just because of the way that I use the tablets in general. The iPad 2 I would get for my professional life, just for doing applications and work on it, but in my personal life and just using it in meetings and moving around, I would stay with the Zoom.
Yeah, and size-wise, I mean, this one has the case. They both have a case on them.
They both have a case on them. Yep.
They feel pretty comparable.
They're comparable in size and weight. The screen size is a little different on the Zoom. It is basically 16 by 9, as opposed to the Apple. We're making up our own size for the screen.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for showing off the Zoom today.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, would you say that you would recommend this to people? Is this something that you would encourage people to purchase?
It depends on the people. If what you're interested in is something that is very sort of rigid and defined and you know where everything is, I would say just stick with the iPad 2. But if you want to use your tablet more for PC-like applications, I would go with something like Honeycomb or the Zoom.
Great. When they add some new features, you should come back and tell us all about them.
I definitely will do that.
And it's time now to thank one of our sponsors, Go to Assist Express. There are a variety of tools in the market that let you remotely work on another person's computer. But the only one I trust and rely on is Go to Assist Express, brought to you by Citrix. The reason? Exceptional performance, ease of use, and security. No IT maintenance or updating is required. It's so fast you'll be viewing your client's computer and troubleshooting it in seconds. Plus, you can support clients' computers even when they're away from their computer. Texilla viewers can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/Texilla. That's gotoassist.com/Texilla for a free trial. Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, playforjapan.org. If you want to take part in an awesome charity and help those in need in Japan, check out the website for playforjapan.org. On the site, you'll find eBay listings from games journalists, developers, and other industry professionals, all of which goes to benefit the recent victims of the earthquake and tsunamis in Japan, along with the Red Cross Association. On the live auction section of the site, you can see all the listings that have been posted, along with their description. There's some really amazing stuff on there, from a Nintendo DS and a Mario Kart cartridge signed by Miyamoto, a copy of Indigo Prophecy for the PS2 signed by David Cage, an Eddie Riggs statue signed by Tim Schafer, and so much more. You can also stay up to date on all the local gamer-related events and fundraisers going on in places all over the country, like the Kotaku fundraiser going on tonight if you're watching this episode on Thursday, March 24th. Keep an eye on the site. I may have a few things I'm auctioning off as well. Head over to playforjapan.org today and help make a difference with other gamers. A few shows back, we received a question from a viewer about getting files on his iPad. We put the question out to you, and you came back with a boatload of helpful tips. Jerison writes, you recently replied to a viewer who wanted to get his files onto his iPad. There is an excellent solution available, though it will cost a whopping $4.99. Oh noes! There is an app called Goodreader, which is designed to store documents on the iPad in a hierarchical arrangement. It handles PDFs, Office documents, videos, and just about any other document you can think of. I personally use it for books, scientific papers, and training videos that I need to carry around on the go. The best part about Goodreader is that it has 1,000,001 ways to get files into the program. You can use file handler features from Safari, use the Goodreader built-in web browser, access remote FTP sites, download from email, use iTunes file sharing, snore, and even turn your iPad into an HTTP server. Since the viewer in question already has a hierarchical set of directories to load, the best way is to do an initial sync with the built-in WebDAV features. If that proves to be too slow, zip up your files and copy them using iTunes file sharing. You can then unzip the entire structure on your iPad. Danny wrote in to say he likes Dropbox. He says, I use Dropbox all the time. On the iPad, if you open a file in Dropbox, then press the star at the bottom to select it as a favorite, it will permanently download it to the device, retaining the file structure. Or you can download iBooks, sync them with iTunes, then reorganize them using iBooks collections features. Danny in Provo. And Seth piped in with his recommendations. AirSharing HD, $9.99 in the App Store. I use AirSharing Pro, $6.99 on my iPod Touch and love it. You have two options when it comes to adding files to it, accessing it via browser or mounting it on your computer. Mounting would be best for transferring a lot of files at once because it's a simple drag and drop action anyway. Accessing via a browser allows you to upload files using a simple upload form at the bottom of the page. To get all of the files up at once would require compressing them into a zip file and unzipping it once uploading. So those are all great ways of managing files on the iPad, and I particularly like Goodreader. In fact, I've been using the app for a while now for editing and signing PDF documents on the go, but you can easily point it to Dropbox files, download them, and then unzip them to view the contents. You can also set up Dropbox as a server, and then you can sync and download files, and then they'll be available locally when you're offline as well, kind of like adding them to favorites. In fact, any servers that you connect to and sync content from will let you keep a local copy in Goodreader, so you can work on them wherever you are. Dropbox, Google Docs, Box.net, mail servers, and MobileMe. There are tons of options. And the transfer over Wi-Fi is pretty cool too. You just have to hit the Wi-Fi button here at the bottom, and then you enter that IP address that pops up into your browser. Just make sure that both the iPad and the computer are running on the same Wi-Fi network at the same time. Then you just upload the files directly to the iPad. This is great if you don't feel like setting up a Dropbox account or emailing all the files to yourself. There are a ton of different ways to use Goodreader, so check out the app on iTunes. It's $4.99, as he said, and well worth the money in my opinion. And you can check out all of the features at www.goodyware.com/Goodreader. Yeah, this is amazing. The setting it up for the file transferring over Chrome or Safari is really cool. I've never tried to do that before on any other application, and you just pull up the IP address like that, enter that into your browser, and then you can just pull the files right up. They show up like immediately.
Why isn't everything transferred that way?
I know, right? I just didn't know it had all these features. I'd been using it forever to like annotate PDF files, and you can even like sign PDF files and then send them back to people.
Really?
Yeah. So like I sign contracts and stuff on this thing, and then just mail them out, and they're
Not that I
totally
sign
legally
a lot of
binding.
contracts, but
No, they're legally binding.
I'm not. No.
It looks like you're a 4th grader because it's like all chicken scratch, but it's
okay. I look 12. I have braces now.
Oh well, it's pretty funny. I mean, I've discovered all these new features since trying to answer his question, and I'm obsessed with this app now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica Belmont is obsessed.
Veronica Belmont approved.
That's pretty serious. Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Carbonite. Whether it's fire, theft, system crash, or just plain old bad luck, you will have a computer disaster. But with Carbonite Online Backup, your files will be backed up automatically already and safely off-site. No scrounging through endless CDs, DVDs, and hard drives to piece back together your data. With Carbonite, it'll be easy to get everything back up and running. Plus, you can access your backed up files remotely from any computer or from your iPhone or BlackBerry with a free Carbonite app. Carbonite costs just $55 a year for unlimited backup for your PC or Mac. Just use the offer code TEXZILLA to start your free 15-day trial, and you'll get 2 months free if you choose to buy. All the details are at Carbonite.com, and remember to use the offer code TEXZILLA to get 2 months free with your purchase. So, Pelican
what's
case,
up with the Pelican case?
iPhone. I ran over the Pelican case, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
sure did.
Oddly enough, I'm in the RMA process for that. Looks like they're going to replace it. The PR people at Pelican, completely unrelated, called up and loved the video and wanted to know if I'd like to torture one of their newer products, which is the Pelican 1510, which is essentially their maximum legal carry-on. And it's got a section you'll like this, a clothing section, and the notebook section.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask everybody in the TechZilla audience, if you want to see us torture this thing, how would you like to see us torture it? And we will try to do that. Apparently it's waterproof. That's one of the big features of this, is the fact that it's all waterproofy. So I'm pretty sure we are not going to get Veronica in a wetsuit putting this in the ocean, but we are certainly willing to
Whoa,
throw
watch your fingies.
I was just clumsy there.
All right.
You mentioned the braces, they're distracting. But yeah, basically, this is going to be fun.
Can we throw it off the roof?
Probably.
Can we throw it out of an airplane?
If we can find somebody dumb enough to let us throw something out of it.
It is a carry-on. So, yes.
Speaking of unusual.
Yes, Anthony has an unusual question for us, but considering the subject matter, we approve. Anthony writes, "My friends are killing me! I have never watched a single episode of the new Battlestar Galactica, and my friends keep razzing me about it.
As well they should.
So I have decided to start watching it. Here's my problem, though. After research on the web, there are the seasons, webisodes, movies, miniseries, something called The Plan, and a Razor, and a Caprica. So, my simple but very important question is, where do I start? What order do I watch these things in? Does it matter? Can you explain what The Plan and the Razor are? My life depends on this. P.S. I will be using Netflix and will watch everything in fabulous, stunning Blu-ray.
Yay.
Thank you so much, and may your sons and daughters bless you with an unlimited supply of goats. Anthony in Coral Springs, Florida."
Gosh, imagine that, an unlimited supply of goat cheese.
You can make a lot of keto, too.
Anyhow, I think we found the definitive episode order guide, which includes all of the webisodes, TV movies, Blu-ray movies, and the actual series itself. The full list is at thunderpeel2001.blogspot.com on a blog called Alphabetti Spaghetti. But here's the abridged version. All descriptions are courtesy of Alphabetti Spaghetti. Miniseries, Season 1, Season 2, Razor, the 99-minute extended version, please, the TV movie. Note, this was originally broadcast just before Season 4, but chronologically it fits here, telling more of the Pegasus' story. Some people argue it's better to watch after Season 3 as originally broadcast. Optional are the Razor flashbacks. This is billed as a 7-episode web series, but really they're just deleted scenes from the broadcast version of Razor. In fact, most of these scenes are now reintegrated into the extended version of Razor, making what's left even more unessential. They are mentioned here only for the sake of completeness and to reduce confusion. They are far from necessary. The only web episodes not reintegrated are 1, 2, and some parts of 7. Note, these episodes were originally released online before Razor was broadcast, but the extended version means it makes more sense to view them afterwards. And then comes The Resistance.
Then you get The Resistance, a 10-episode web-based series bridging seasons 2 and 3. That's about 25 minutes. Then you have the entirety of season 3. And then a lot of fans would argue that it's worth watching the end of Razor again at this point, specifically the scenes featuring the hybrid, as this was where Razor was originally broadcast, and its ending sets the tone for season 4.
Oh, does it?
Which comes next, season 4. Then, The Face of the Enemy, a 10-episode web-based series, although it's really just a single mini-episode about 30 36 minutes. These episodes have not been included on any DVD or Blu-ray releases, but if you live in the US, you can view them for free at Hulu.com. They're not presently available anywhere else in the world, and he highly recommends you do your best to find them. Then, The Plan. This is where this DVD Blu-ray movie was originally released after the show had finished. It's probably preferable to watch this after no exit the episode, unless after you finish the entire series, but there's no harm in waiting until now. Then, Caprica, an entire TV series set 58 years before the events of Battlestar Galactica and revealing the events surrounding the creation of the Cylons. Although it's worth noting that you don't have to have seen BSG to watch Caprica, and some people have decided to watch this series first.
Because technically, chronologically, in the larger sense of the...
Yes, but it is nice to get some of the... You feel like you know a little bit more about what's going on if you've seen BSG before you've seen Caprica.
This is true.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Blood and Chrome, which is unreleased. It's another TV series that is presently at pilot stage. If the pilot, well, is successful, a TV series will be produced, set to follow the exploits of a young William Adama during the First Cylon War, and is considered a sequel to Caprica and a prequel to Battlestar Galactica.
Woo!
So say we all.
So say we all.
That's a whole lot of sci-fi happy for you. And if you don't enjoy it, I would like to apologize and tell you that your friends are going to give you even more giant piles of stuff.
I think I've even missed some of those webisodes.
I have to admit, I've been holding off on Caprica.
Caprica I was kind of disappointed by, I gotta say. I didn't love Caprica.
That's one of the reasons I've been waiting on it.
Okay, fair enough.
BSG, though, own
Awesome.
the Blu-rays and love them. Finally, we have this email from Julie who writes in. I bought a Drobo about 4 years ago. It was expensive, so I went cheap with the hard disk drives. This was a huge mistake. After years of troubleshooting, the Drobo gathered dust, years of troubleshooting, and disdain until a few months ago when my iMac started to do scary things and backup became a priority again. I decided to completely replace all the hard drives. After doing my research, I bought 4 1TB Hitachi drives. Hitachi drives have been fantastic. My Drobo has been doing a stellar job ever since. Finally! My advice to others looking for a hard disk drive backup solution is to invest in good hard drives. Julie in Ottawa, Canada.
Words to live by.
Don't buy crappy hard drives.
So say we all.
So say we all. Literally, like, you know what I mean? A Drobo, there are 32 different brands of RAID devices out there. They are all only as good as your hard drive.
I mean, we often say, you know, we compare things that are very expensive and then compare things that are very inexpensive. There's always a middle ground where you're going to get a decent price for good quality things.
Right.
Like somewhere between the hard disk drives that you bought and monster cables, you know, is the happy gadget medium with stuff that isn't going to bust your pocketbook, but is also going to last you and not going to go foobar on you either.
Yeah. Do your research as you did the second time around. Buy quality stuff. You'll be much happier. For everybody watching, we need your questions. Email us, techzilla@revision3.com. Check out product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we'll do it. But we need your emails. Don't be shy. Send them to techzilla@revision3.com.
Even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload it to YouTube, and send us a link in an email with video question in the subject line. And as always, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TechZilla. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching TechZilla.